Count Copay.
And we'll have that.
Ray Berger.
Pledge of allegiance.
No, sir.
Brett, would you lead us, please?
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, have the minutes read from the previous meeting, please.
The regular monthly meeting of the Franklin Town Board was called to order at 7:30 p.m. by Supervisor Jeff Taggart. Present were Garrett Sitz, David Grant, Donnie Smith, Dwight Bruno, Paul Warner, and Highway Superintendent Mark Lang. Dave Tuthill gave an update on the Kellogg Educational Foundation Community Center. They have acquired 3 grants from Delaware Academy Kellogg Memorial Fund. They have also completed the fundraising of $500 for the matching grant from the O'Connor Foundation. The new space for the community center is starting to get organized, and they're talking about, with Belton's Landscaping, about the updating of the Little League field. Their meetings are the last Wednesday of the month at the Treadwell Firehouse from April to October. Deborah Renwick from Wayne Bank spoke to make the board and community aware of the services that they offer. Mark Lang opened bids for trucking stone, crushing stone, calcium chloride, heating oil, and diesel fuel. 2 companies submitted for trucking stone: Carver Stone, $8.50 a ton, Cobleskill Stone, $7.90 a ton. Garrett Sitz made a motion to accept the bid from Cobleskill Stone. David Grant seconded, and all agreed. There were 2 companies to bid for the liquid calcium chloride. Peckham bid 82.823 cents per gallon. Is that right? Okay. And the bid from Suitcoat is $1.05 a gallon. Garrett Sitz made a motion to accept the bid from Peckham. David Grant seconded, and all agreed. There were 4 bids for crushing stone with a dozer provided. Clark's is $5.60 a cubic yard. Lefevre's is $5 a cubic yard. Pope's Excavating is for $4 a cubic yard, and Seward Sand and Gravel is $6 a cubic yard. Garrett Sitz made a motion to accept the bid from Pope's Excavating. Donnie Smith seconded the motion, and all agreed. Marabito Fuel Group was the only bid for heating oil and diesel fuel. The fluctuating prices are as follows. Heating oil is rack plus 30 cents a gallon. Diesel fuel is rack plus 24.35 cents a gallon. And 60/40 winter fuel rack plus 27.35 cents. The firm prices are as follows. Heating oil, it's 26.45 cents a gallon. Diesel fuel is $2.10 a gallon, and 60/40 is $2.56 a gallon. The prepaid price for heating fuel is $2.16 a gallon, diesel fuel $1.99 a gallon, and 60/40 blend is $2.45 a gallon. Dwight Bruno made a motion to prepay for half of the diesel fuel if they are willing to do this. Otherwise, go with the firm price for all of the fuel needs. Donnie Smith seconded, and all agreed. Mark gathered information on the last snowstorm, March 14th and 15th. The estimated cost with overtime is $25,805. The rentals are here and being used. The town will need to rent an excavator for the month of May at a cost of $3,500. David Grant made a motion to rent the excavator for 1 month. Dwight Bruno seconded, and all agreed. Delhi Telephone is putting on broadband service in the area, and they're looking for a location for a 12 by 24 building. They're wondering if the town would be willing to provide space for the building next to the town shed. The board is curious how much they'd be willing to pay or what services they would provide. Mark will put out an open bid for a new pickup truck. Bob Egler would like to see the free Wi-Fi removed from the library. The town can examine their funding for next year. Brian Brock would like to know when the financial report will be ready. Donnie Smith requested that the board would like to have an annual report from Franklin Local. With nothing further to come before the board, the meeting was adjourned at 9 o'clock.
Any additions or corrections? I'd like a little clarification on the fuel oil price.
What do you want?
Well, I'm not sure. I was. It was $2.43 instead of 24,
Oh,
25 cents a gallon.
that's what threw me, okay.
I said, yeah, that's, I said,
243, okay.
we'd like to have
Sorry.
the 23 cents a
God, what
gallon,
did
that'd
we
be great,
notice?
but I
Okay.
think they flinch on that one.
Okay.
Okay, is there any other questions or corrections or additions to the minutes? Do we have a motion?
A
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, relating to this, the prepay, they wouldn't take half of the prepay on the fuel. So what we ended up bargaining for is we prepaid the heating oil, which was about 6,000 gallons. So they give us a 10 cents off a gallon on the heating fuel part of it, because it's a, a separate entity, so that's what we ended up doing. And they did come through with the paperwork on that, didn't they, Paul, or not?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I sent him a letter,
Oh.
saying that's what we were gonna do, but
She was gonna, yeah, did she agreed to it over the phone and stuff. I said, oh, yeah, great.
Yeah,
You know,
she
email the mark.
she's emailed me and it should be all straight.
Okay, okay. That may be done later then. But, okay, Craig, I guess it's, you've got the floor, sir. Good luck, the postcard, I normally get something else out of Craig.
Yeah. I'll leave some of these up here in case any of the audience members want them. Appreciate the town board's time tonight, giving me a few minutes to be on the agenda. I'm Craig DeMond, Under Sheriff of Delaware County, and behalf of Sheriff Mills. I just wanted to spend a few minutes discussing some of the opiate problems and the crime associated with it with the town board and with the audience members here tonight. The sheriff has me going around to every town board meeting that we have in Delaware County, all 19 towns, to basically elicit cooperation and help in assisting us in addressing the problems that are out there. As everybody sitting in this room probably knows, we have a significant problem with drugs. It's not just in Delaware County, it's the entire state, it's the entire Northeast actually. It's a prolific problem, something that's we've seen basically a 300% increase in activity since 2012. It's really occupying, the drug problems and the crimes associated with the drugs are occupying, just about all of our time that we're working on right now. There's a bunch of things that we're doing to try to address it. We did, back in 2012, create a Delaware County Drug Task Force. I chair that task force on behalf of Sheriff Mills. And what we did with that task force, we brought a whole bunch of people together, all the community partners, whether it be probation, social services, Department of Health, alcohol and drug, the education community, the treatment community, bringing everyone together to try to come up with a plan to deal with this issue. We come up with a 3-stage approach, 1 being education, 2 being treatment, and 3 being aggressive law enforcement. And I'm just going to talk to you real briefly tonight about what we've been doing from a sheriff's office perspective to address those 3 things. First of all, education. Education is probably the single most important thing to address this problem. It's really not going to, I've been quoted a number of times saying we're not going to arrest our way out of this problem. It isn't going to happen through just arresting people. It's like the whack-a-mole game at the fair. You knock one down and 5 more pop up. That's just it's the nature of the beast. It's really going to be done through education, and it's going to be a generational shift, getting into the schools, changing the mindset of our young people, and we've been doing those things. We established a school substation program where we've partnered with local school districts. They give us some space in their school, an office space, internet connection, and a telephone. Our return is to go into the school, deliver educational programs, do regular walkthroughs, build relationships with staff and with kids within the school system. And it's kind of a twofold approach. We build those positive relationships with those kids, but at the same time, we have a law enforcement presence in the school systems. And that's a good thing nowadays, because it seems like every other day you're turning on the news and you're looking at these active shooter situations and things that are happening all over the country. So we like that program. The schools have really embraced it. We're in every school system in Delaware County except for 2. We also have a paid school resource officer program. 2 school districts participate in that program. The Sydney Central School District and DCMO BOCES in Masonville. That's where a deputy is actually physically assigned to those 2 places and that's where he works, alternating schools daily. And that's been a wonderful resource to those two schools, and they seem to enjoy the program. We deliver a lot of community education. We do these things. We do opiate awareness nights, whether it be Rotary meetings, town boards, you name it. We're trying to get the message out to get the community to partner with us to make a difference in their communities. Second is treatment. One of the things that we could do, that we decided we would do to help with treatment, we started seeing the same faces coming in and out of the jail for the petty crimes associated with the drug trade. You know, people that have really just been victimized by some of these dealers that have moved into our communities. They've preyed on some of the people that are vulnerable, they've got them addicted to their stuff, and they get them to go out and sell the product for them, and they're the ones that get caught up in the mess, you know. So they're very clever people. So there's two different tracks we need to do to address these things. We need to address the treatment track, and we need to address the law enforcement side, because a lot of people really have been victimized. The days that you picture a heroin addicts, you know, underneath a bridge, a homeless person with a needle sticking out of their arm, are gone. You know, it's professional people. It's doctors, lawyers, police officers, teachers. It doesn't discriminate. It's affected everybody. Our foster care numbers here in Delaware County are record numbers, more than we've ever seen before. Over 100 kids in foster care placement. Families are being decimated by this. So what we could do to try to change that shift and try to get these people that have been actually victimized to keep from the revolving door thing in and out of the county jails, we instituted a recovery coach position. This is a person that works with a person who really wants to change their ways about 90 days prior to the release from jail. And what that person does is they hook them up with, whether it be treatment services, housing, education, you know, you name it. They work with that person so that hopefully the first phone call they make when they're released from jail isn't to a drug dealer. It's to something more productive. Because we were actually seeing that. The dealers were actually picking up the inmates at the jail when they were released. So we've done that. We've also instituted a Vivitrol program. Vivitrol is a drug that's administered. It's a once-a-month injectable drug. This is done through the Delaware County Drug Treatment Court in cooperation with probation. These are selected individuals who have really made a commitment to change. They've been accepted by the county court judge into the Drug Treatment Court program. They're given this once-a-month injectable. The first injection happens a month before they leave the facility. And what this does is it gives them this drug blocks the dopamine receptors in the brain and doesn't allow the person to become high. So they can take all the heroin they want. There's no really incentive to do it because you can't get high. There's no diversionary issues with that. They can't go out and deal it on the streets. It's all controlled very closely through alcohol and drug, and that's showing a lot of promise. We've instituted that last October. There's about a half a dozen people on it. It's working really well so far. We're the second county in New York State to actually implement that program, and a lot of other counties have jumped on since then, so that's pretty good. And then lastly, aggressive law enforcement. That's what we do best, really. That's really our mission. That's what we do. You've probably seen the news releases and the stuff in the paper in regard to the arrests that we've been making with drug dealers. We've really been going out and hammering these people that have created this prolific problem. Not the people who are actually addicted, but the people who are here to make a buck. You know, they're going down to New York City, they're going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, they're buying heroin for $5 a bag, and they're bringing it back up here and selling it for $35. So it's a pretty profitable business, you know. And we've been able to make some pretty good inroads. We've been able to get a hold of some people that have been causing communities a considerable amount of problem for quite a lengthy period. Actually, our 3 investigators at the Sheriff's Office have been responsible for 67.4% of the felony level drug arrests in the county last year. So we're very proud of that. They've done a phenomenal job. But really, if they build the county, probably a third of the overtime they actually work would be broke. They're completely dedicated to the mission. So we're doing that. With that being said, what we've done as part of the public education piece is we've created a couple different venues for people to communicate with the Sheriff's Office. One of them is a toll-free tip line. The tip line's on this card. You can also access the tip line through our website. The tip line's anonymous. It's not traceable. You don't have to leave your name. You can just leave us tips. We prefer for someone to leave us their name and to give us a callback information, because inevitably there's questions we like to ask, follow-up questions. We can assure you that if you're involved, if you provide information to us and don't want to be officially involved, I give you my personal assurance that your name will never be part of an official investigation. Same deal with our website. We launched a website. On that website, there's a number of different ways that you can communicate with us. One of us is an anonymous email link. You can go on there and do the same thing and give us tips. We've also implemented what's called the Sheriff's Mobile Patrol app. For those of you, I had to break down and actually get one myself, one of these dumb phones or smartphones, whatever. I feel dumb using it. But there's an app that you can search. It's called Sheriff's Mobile Patrol. It's a free app. You can download that, and there's a way to submit tips on that app as well. You can keep track of who's in the county jail, when they come, when they leave, what they're charged with. There's a lot of different things that are kind of interesting on there. You set up alerts. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. The drug dealers really like using the app quite a bit because they like to see who's in jail and who's not.
Keep track of their
They're workers, right. So, and last but not least, just a couple of months ago, we implemented a Facebook page. And you can always communicate with us on Facebook, and if you like us or friend us on Facebook, we constantly push information out to the community that may be of use to you. Bottom line is everyone in Delaware County, and I'm a 5th generation Delaware County person, we know our communities better than anyone. You know, these are small rural communities. They're hard to break into sometimes when it comes to infiltrating some of these drug circles. Everybody knows everybody. They're very, very careful. And a lot of times, you know, I've been to these town board meetings where I'm giving this same presentation, and someone in the audience will raise their hand and they'll say, "Well, Craig, everyone knows where the drug house is. It's right up here on the," and we know that too. You know, more than likely we know that too. But there's still this thing called the Bill of Rights and a flag on the pole out there. We just can't stormtrooper into people's houses and do things. You have to build cases, and to build cases, you have to have good information and reasonable cause. And good information to secure warrants. That information, a lot of times, many community people know about, and we're looking for that one last piece. And you know, a number of people will say, we didn't want to bother you with something that seems so insignificant. Everyone sitting in this room is a taxpayer, all right? We're here to serve you. That's our mission. That's what we're employed to do. So nothing is ever a bother. The most insignificant thing that you may think may be out there may be the one last piece of the puzzle that we've been looking for. You know, some of these investigations take 18, 24 months to break into some of these circles. So it can really, and it has, community tips have really quickened our investigative process and led to arrests a lot more quickly than if we just left to our own devices trying to figure out things ourselves. So with that being said, I'm open to any questions anyone may have, and then I'll be out of here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
What is the main avenue of the drugs coming this way? What is the main, you know, do they come from the interstate, do they come up 17, do they come from Monticello, what's the main route for them at this point? That you know.
Philadelphia up 81 through into Binghamton, okay, out 17, and then from New York City, same deal, up 17, right through Downsville and Walton and right into our community.
Residuals and car? I mean,
Yeah, most of them are out there transported with cars, and they're very, very clever in how they do it. Some aren't, you know. We had one of our most prolific ones. I think it was I don't know, 1,500 bags of heroin or something. She was intoxicated doing 85 on 17. You know? But that was one that the guys just happened to come across in a traffic stop. You know, which, hey, we'll take them all. You know what I mean? And we thank God for those dumb criminals. You know, you know, a lot of these things, a lot of them are very careful in what they do. And like I said, they do victimize some of the vulnerable people of our communities, and they're the ones that are really tough to break into. They're the ones that we're always looking, so whether it be plate numbers, whether it be dates and times and people's comings and goings, people in our small communities know what looks out of place. And I can tell you right now, a lot of people say, I don't want to bother with that. Maybe it's nothing. In these days and times, I can tell you right now, if it looks out of place, it's probably out of place. And there's probably something nefarious with going along with it. So report it, because it may just make all the difference in the world.
The rec committee expressed some interest in possibly doing something, working possibly with you guys, with the youth, with the swimming and the baseball and stuff.
Sure.
Is there someone to contact, or how do you?
Certainly, feel free to contact me at the office. Give us a brief description of what you're looking for. We can put a program together. We do that stuff all the time.
Okay.
So we do tours.
Is there an age limit? I mean, you know, how.
You know
how
what was the
young-
scary thing is when we first started going out and doing these presentations, we were going into the schools and we were doing it in auditoriums in front of 11th and 12th graders. And after those presentations, we said, you know, we want to get some feedback from these kids and see what they're thinking of all this stuff. So we did some scenarios where we did some feedback, and two things happened. Well, some things don't change. They said, don't deliver it in auditoriums and assemblies because we don't pay attention. Right? We sit there for 45 minutes, goof off, and then go back to class. They said, deliver it in small group settings, so we started doing it in health classes. And the second thing that they said was, you don't need to talk to us, you need to talk to middle school. And we were like, oh, holy cow. You know, so yeah, no, the age doesn't matter.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, Liz?
Right, I have one question about the app. You were saying that the dealers like the app of knowing who's in the jail.
Mhm.
What benefit does that have for the non-drug dealers? I'm just trying to understand the benefit of that app.
Well, one of
Is
the...
that app sponsored by Delaware County Sheriff?
The app is sponsored by Delaware County Sheriff. It's our app. It's a free app to the user. All right, but there's a whole bunch of different functions on that app. That's just one or two of them that I mentioned. As far as you know, we can put out information. You can look for. There's a Delaware County's Most Wanted list on there. You know, there's all sorts of information that may be relevant, maybe not to you. You know, but some people like to know. Inquiring minds want to know who's in the jail. What are they charged with? You know. You know, especially when it comes to sex offenders and stuff like that, there's a lot of curiosity around those types of things, so. Yes?
Like if you're renting to people, it used to be hard to get a police blotter on them. This makes it easier to
Would-
find out if they have a record.
Oh, sure, I mean, because if they're,
Somebody,
sure, absolutely, and it's not hard to get a police blotter on someone. If you call a police agency and have a person's name and want to know if that person's been arrested, that's public information. You know, police blotters are public information. So that's, you shouldn't,
you would get everything on them?
not everything, but you're gonna be able to know, what that person was arrested and what they were charged with. Any other questions? Well, again, we're here to serve you, so don't be afraid to pick up the phone or give us an email. That's what we're here for. I'm happy to help with this. Any other problem that you have in the future, feel free to contact us at the office, so. Okay?
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for your time, everybody. And I'll leave these cards up here if anyone from the audience wants them. Take care.
Thanks.
Take care.